Dr. Shailesh Naik, the Chancellor TERI SAS, Professor Prateek Sharma, Vice Chancellor TERI SAS, Professor Ramakrishna, Dean Academic, Professor Shaleen Singhal, Dean Research and Partnership, Professor Andita Singh, Dean Students Welfare, Dr. Sudeepta Chatterjee, Proctor, Shri Kamal Sharma, Registrar, other distinguished guests, faculty members, staff members, proud parents, and my dear students, members of media, ladies and gentlemen. I am indeed delighted to participate in the 15th Convocation of TERI School of Advanced Studies. I take this opportunity to congratulate all the faculty members, students, and staff of this institute and all those who have contributed in promoting good educational standards here. My heartiest congratulations to all the students of TERI SAS on their accomplishments of acquiring knowledge, resulting in award of these degrees. As you walk into the open world, you will realize the strength you have gained through quality education imparted by this dedicated and excellent faculty. My greetings to the great teachers who worked tirelessly in shaping the young minds. I also greet all parents who inspired their children towards studies and provided them the resources and environment for growth. My dear young graduates, you are graduating at a time when our nation is surging forward in all fields. The knowledge that you have gained, the opportunities and options that you have affords you the freedom to choose your area of interest and choice many of your previous generations did not have. You are empowered by knowledge and now have to fortify it with your personal qualities like honesty, hard work, sincerity, and integrity to top it all. With a sense of pride to serve the nation, I am quite confident that you will have the most rewarding experience in the years to come. Friends, knowledge is the foundation on which India needs to build itself. Who else could help India if not you, young graduates with the right qualification? Quality education is the foundation on which India must build its destiny. Our country is built with intellectual brains. Students are the country's future. Inculcating the right values is as important as nurturing their academic excellence. I want to talk to you about knowledge and sustainable development and energy in this talk today. If we take stock of growth of technology on a time scale over the centuries and understand its human impact, we will realize that we have to give equal importance to each and every segment of technology for the security and well-being of our mighty nation. Be it national security, energy security, space security, economic security, and living standards that include food security and healthcare, each one of these hinges on the basic principles of knowledge economy and sustainability. The role of technology, design, and innovation in sustainable development is viewed in a new way with emphasis on tools for empowerment like education, information, communication, and environmental sustainability by exploring the context of clean and renewable energy, improved resource efficiency, and circular economy. And innovation is central to putting the world onto a sustainable energy path. The phenomenal growth that has changed the lifestyle of humans in the past 2 centuries has been primarily due to the ability to change the forms of energy from one to the other. However, human civilization has been experiencing a non-linear growth in energy demand with technological advancements and rising demand in every sector. With resources steadily depleting, increased environmental impact, and unbalanced quality of life, the importance of pursuit towards net zero emissions and judicious energy utilization have become the unavoidable context in the global scenario. Thus, the problem statement that appears irrespective of nations is to ensure sustainable energy for humanity, nurturing the quality of life from all the aspects known to man. In other words, this refers to balancing the energy trilemma, which includes energy security, energy equity, and energy sustainability as its components. And sustainability in energy sector refers to the judicious balance along 3 primary goals, which can be distinctly identified as energy access, energy efficiency, and energy affordability. Dear friends, one of the biggest and the most significant challenge facing humanity in the 21st century is decarbonization of the world's energy systems. If no climate policies are implemented, and if we continue with trends post-industrial revolution, projected greenhouse gas emissions will reach a mark almost about 150 gigatons of carbon dioxide by year 2100. I think many of you might have studied these projections. This will also exhibit a global average temperature rise of 4.1 to 4.8 degrees. However, the current climate policies show that by 2050, greenhouse gas emissions will peak above 50 gigatons, limiting the global temperature rise to about 2.5 to 2.9. Thus, there's an utmost need for implementing the 2 degrees Celsius and 1.5 degrees Celsius pathways to limit the greenhouse gas emissions peak by the year 2530 and reach net zero goals by 2070. Under the 1.5 degree scenario, NDC, all of you know what is NDC, nationally determined contributions, can be estimated to have a profound impact on the global annual emission rate. Renewable energy, energy conservation, and efficiency measures are projected to have the maximum impact in reducing about 50% of the emission rate scenario, followed by electrification agenda in end-use sectors by about 20%. Bioenergy, carbon capture and storage, and separate carbon capture utilization and programs in the industrial sectors cumulatively promise a 20% reduction for the same. Application and shifting to hydrogen and other derivatives also illustrates a 10% lowering of the emission scenario. We can thus forecast a decrease in global carbon dioxide emissions rate by year 2050, optimistically moderated to about 36.9 gigatons of CO2 per year. When considering Indian scenario, we can estimate that energy demand has tripled over the last 3 decades and is marked by a falling share of traditional biomass, leaving coal and oil in dominant positions. And by 2070, 18,900 to 22,300 terawatt hours per year total energy will be required for supporting the country's energy demands. Moreover, the country is now heavily dependent on oil imports, ranging from almost about 82.9% and coming down to about 85.5%. The nation's rising population and incomes have underpinned the surge in energy use and the resulting rise in pollution. But the annual per capita energy consumption is still less, about 67% of the world average, which is at about 6,992 kilowatt hours per person. India is walking on a tight rope, trying to balance energy security for its population and contributing to global efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. India's power sector is the largest contributor to the CO2 emissions, about 45.7%, and is followed by growing transport and industrial sectors, iron and steel, cement, and many more. The forecasted emissions rate during the year 2030 illustrates a 76% increase, which accounts to almost about 4 gigatons per annum from 2018 values. This certainly calls for actively taking part in the global net zero agenda, but in a way sustainable from India's own perspective. We all know that India is pledged towards achieving net zero, what our Honorable Prime Minister has done recently in COP27, is it by net zero by 2070, is one of the deterministic pathways impacting its technology and innovation fields in the energy security paradigm. Alongside, India has pledged to achieve its non-fossil energy target to 500 gigawatts and separately meet 50% of its energy requirement from renewables. Moreover, the Honorable Prime Minister has targeted to reduce the total projected carbon emissions by 1 billion tons by 2030. The climate crisis is here, and India needs to make up deep carbon emissions cuts to ensure sustainable energy security and address the present crisis. The conventional ways of utilization of fossil fuels will see a complete paradigm shift aiming towards increased efficiency and cleaner approaches. India is not very rich in fossil fuels resources, and considering the large and growing energy demand, all energy sources are to be deployed optimally. coal is considered to continue playing a dominant role, and its share in primary energy supply is projected to rise to about 51% in 2030 and considered to be followed by oil, gas, nuclear, and renewables by 28%, 8%, and 8% respectively. Moreover, use of coal needs to peak by 2040 and go down by 99% between the years 2040 and 2060. And crude oil consumption should peak by 2050 to keep up the determined targets. Some of these figures which I am quoting are from the projections made by TERI, some are made by Niti Aayog, and so on. In the light of key energy transition sectors, critical and long-term technology challenges for research development demonstration can be identified, and it is on your able shoulders how the same can be manifested considering indigenous needs. The key sectors to realize energy transition pathways can be mapped by following technologies: clean coal technologies, carbon capture and utilization and storage, hydrogen, both blue and green, energy carriers like methanol, ethanol, and ammonia, renewable energy and storage technologies comprising of advanced wind, solar technologies, OTEC, wave energy, pumped storage, power plants, and lithium-ion batteries, sodium-ion batteries, flow batteries, and so on. Evolved mobility with alternate fuels like HEV, EV, and modal shift, and small modular nuclear reactors. Clean coal technologies have been researched and worked a number of times in the past. By 2040, coal is anticipated to make up around 48% of all primary energy demand. The advanced ultra-supercritical plants promise higher combustion temperatures and high efficiencies and hence lower emissions. Some of the coal combustion methodology like coal gasification, which is more efficient than traditional coal combustion by about 17 to 20%. Coal gasification can be used to generate electricity, methanol, liquid fuels, chemicals, and hydrogen. Advanced combustion technologies such as oxy-fuel combustion and chemical looping could significantly reduce emissions from the coal-fired power plants. CCUS technology has applications with indigenous and collaborated technology breakthrough would accelerate the greenhouse gas emission peak reduction by 2030. Though there remains a tremendous effort to electrify industrial operations, there are limitations due to a process synthesis method or existing energy applications limiting the scope for CO2 abatement. Current materials such as amine-based solvents have limitations, and researchers are exploring alternate materials such as metal organic framework and solid sorbents that could be more efficient and cost-effective. Since the capture procedure constitutes about 75% of the complete process cost, R&D in capture technologies and reduction in overall cost is the need of the hour. Certainly, CCUS can complementarily act as precursor for synthesizing alternate energy carriers like methanol and hydrogen. Hydrogen, which has been announced as a mission in our country, which is clean hydrogen, could cut up about 34% of the global greenhouse gas emissions. Today, water electrolysis accounts for less than 2% of total global hydrogen production, but low carbon electricity becomes more available. In fact, the saying is, unless the grid is about 90% decarbonized, you can't get green hydrogen. Moreover, improving electrolyzer efficiency, decreasing the cost, and eradicating import dependency will be a primary goal for hydrogen ecosystem innovation objective in the years ahead. Currently, the most commonly used platinum electrodes are expensive, rare, and susceptible to degradation over time. The research on materials such as nickel, cobalt, and iron-based catalysts, which are less expensive and more abundant, is the need of the hour. The current state-of-the-art membrane material, Nafion, is expensive, prone to degradation, and not suitable for high-temperature operations. We need to explore alternative materials. We also need to implement blue hydrogen economy, which can pave the way for integrating green hydrogen value chain. Methanol is the carrier for blue hydrogen, or hydrogen for that matter. Dimethyl ether is one of the major areas. So methanol reformers are able to generate one element, hydrogen, on demand at the point of use to avoid the complexity and high cost associated with logistics of hydrogen as a fuel. Production process using electrolyte hydrogen and CO2 would avoid direct fossil fuel use. Nuclear power and SMRs. For all the renewable penetration what we are talking of, it becomes imperative that to meet the vagaries of the renewable energy, We need base load power either from the thermal power plants, which are polluting, or from nuclear energy. So nuclear energy presently accounts for about 2% of the country's electricity generation with an installed capacity of 6.7 gigawatts. Best energy mix strategy in India, especially in the net zero emission scenario, is to use renewable paired with steady carbon-free source like nuclear energy. We should look at SMRs that can more readily slot into the brownfield sites in place of decommissioned coal-fired plants and are less land intensive compared to the SPV plants. With conservative approach, installing a nuclear capacity of about 400 gigawatts energy equivalent will avoid a cumulative 30 gigatons of carbon dioxide. The technology gap may be identified as validating the choice of nuclear fuel cycle based on indigenous capability and also identifying innovative fuels to ensure high performance at lower cost. Mobility is another sector which is being also discussed over and over again. The most important thing is e-mobility and also hybrid e-mobility and also fuel cells and electrification, methanol, alternate fuels, blended methanol, blended ethanol. Variety of options are at hand, but most important thing is to bring down the problem of charging the batteries and also indigenous production of batteries for meeting the e-mobility requirement. Renewable energy and storage technologies are also very important. Increased efforts in wind technology R&D are essential to aid in resource planning that minimize the impact of scaling up wind power capacity and system-friendly integration of wind power through digital solutions and advanced power electronics. Enhancing advanced composite materials for turbine development to reduce weight and mechanical damage. There are other sources of energies which India has not explored much, like geothermal and ocean power. I think there's a need for us to do a lot of work in this direction. Solar sector also is one of our major area where we have done very well in terms of the installed capacity today. But the major problem which is being faced today is the import content as far as the solar energy cells are concerned. Government has taken initiatives today to provide PLI schemes for providing for the industry to set up solar plants. But I think by the time it happens, most of the energy requirement of 500 gigawatts would be already based upon the imported things. There's a need for us to improve the efficiency of these solar systems, and that's where we look for working on perovskite and concentrated solar power systems, and also multi-junction solar cells, which will give an efficiencies in the region of 40 to 45%. Energy storage is one of the major areas. Many of you must be working as part of your research programs. So I personally believe that advanced lithium-ion batteries, lithium alternatives, short-term response energy storage devices, solid-state batteries, and more so, the flow batteries could be one of the answers for pumped hydro systems and things like that. So sustainable energy system will only achievable by taking full advantage of the best innovations. Innovation is at the heart of successful, sustainable, and just energy transformation. We need to adapt the development of energy technologies to develop a fuller understanding of the opportunities they offer and to disseminate widely. All this cannot be done unless people like you, the youth, participate in this whole program. As the youth of our country, you are the inheritors of glorious civilization and future stewards for our nation. Each one of you have to play an important role in this progress. You have to strive hard not only to achieve your goals, but also to make this country better from all respects. Friends, to be a transformative leader and to gain true success in your life as problem solvers, you must inculcate some of the abilities to remain competitive in this dynamic world. Be creative, be curious, be enthusiastic, never get upset and run away from problems. Set your goals clearly and work to achieve them. Be ethical and maintain high standards of professional excellence and personal integrity. You have to move ahead with grit and determination, lead from the front, be wise in choosing every choice matters, improve the decision-making capabilities through risk assessment, assume full responsibility and take lead in showing the direction, inculcate the habit of design, build and test methodology, and learn to model and simulate. Now it is time for all of you to work to fulfill your dreams. I am confident that the students who have earned their degrees today will take part in nation building of their country in a meaningful way. You are blessed to be entering in increasingly risk-friendly world. I would advise you to take full advantage of it. Today you have the leisure to take the right risk and be creative in your careers. Always remember that no matter the age, you must never stop being a student. Friends, belief is one of the most powerful tools behind the success of any person, may it be personal or professional. I cannot resist myself but to quote Swami Vivekananda. He said, all power is within you. You can do anything and everything. Believe in that. Do not believe that you are weak. Do not believe that you are half-crazy lunatics as most of us do nowadays. Stand up and express the divinity within you. He also said, this life is short. The variety in the world is transient. They alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. So friends, let us all live for the growth of our great nation and welfare of our countrymen. I congratulate once again all of you and wish each and every one of you a very prosperous, rewarding life ahead. I wish that you have very fulfilling careers, but more importantly, I wish that you become model citizens of this country. May God bless you all. Jai Hind. Namaskar.